Before we switch gears into sandwich leases, I want to do a summary of everything that we've been teaching you up to this point. Awesome. And the best way to do that is with a financial calculation summary of, all right, Chris, show me the money. We did it at the start of the day. Now we're going to take all of this language and we're going to show you how should you as an investor, non-consumer, be considering the lease option and its profit centers. All right, so there's a house that we want to buy. It has a value of $230,000. You are purchasing it for $200,000. And for this example, we're just going to assume that you're doing conventional down payment of 20%. And so we're going to say that you have on this side, you've got a down of $40,000. And other than that, you bought it. And now you're listing it and you're about to do a lease option on it. So the first thing that you're doing is you're getting a photocopy of your contracts. You're getting a photocopy, you're taking your flyer and you're figuring out your numbers. And based on this, you decide to do the numbers that we put up earlier today. Payments of $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. And on a house that's 5 bedrooms on up, it might be $1,600, $1,700, $1,800. It's going to change, the credited consideration. And you get your flyers, you have your applications, you put the signs out, and immediately you get phone calls, and that Saturday you have a first open house. And it's a popular location. You did a great job getting it out on Craigslist, and people are calling in, and you've gotten like 25 phone calls. It's a crazy week. You got the right time of the year when people are moving out, and it's in the springtime, and there's love in the air. People are excited, and you push everyone to a Saturday morning, 9 a.m. We're going to meet at the house, and I'll show you how it all goes down. Well, of the 25 parties that call, 15 of them end up showing up. And they all arrive around 9-ish o'clock, and you talk to them as a group, explain who you are, let them know you're excited. There's obviously many of you here. I'll connect with as many as you can. We'll walk through the house, and in about 15 minutes, 9:15, we'll meet back here, and I'll talk about the flyer and the program. Everyone scatters to and fro, walks around the house, checks it out, having a good experience. You make your rounds, you talk with people, you connect with the people that you feel drawn to, that especially you think might be great candidates for this. And all of a sudden, it's 9:15. Everyone has come gathered, and you said, well, let me tell you a little bit about this whole rent-to-own thing, and it's awesome, and here's the benefits, and here's what I can do for you. It's a service for the community. The other reason why I'm doing it is because I don't like being landlord. It's your house if you get it, so I'm willing to give you a lot more than a bank ever would. It's a huge benefit to you. You control it, freedom, ownership. But I don't want any phone calls. I don't fix toilets. I'm not your landlord. You are your landlord. Make sense? Who wants to learn more? Here's the flyers. Here's the payments. Here's what they look like. Today, there's a lot of us here. I'm probably going to collect some applications. These applications are only for individuals that see an option here that they think is doable. People look at it, 2 or 3 people ask for applications, everything else winds down, the serious people hang out, they hang out for an hour because they can't stop checking out and dreaming about how amazing the house is, because that's what happens often. And then all of a sudden you shake hands, and before your serious parties leave, you kind of talked about where they're at financially. Well, I think I do the $5,000, well, I think I do the $7,000. All right, great, and what would make you a good candidate, and sell me why you, and I'm going to get these good applications. And I pick them up, I shake hands, say goodbye. That night I start making some phone calls. I'm going to talk to some references. It might be Monday when I'm talking to their bosses and whatnot, do a background check. Oh, both of them are really good candidates, but this one makes $70,000 a year, this one makes $50,000. This one wants to put more money down. I think I'm going to go with the stronger financial situation. I know who that is. Congratulations. I think that you might be the one. Let's meet back at the house. Bring your family, all the decision makers. I recommend, if you already know what you want to do, we had talked about this. Is that what you're thinking? You are. Bring a certified check, and I'll bring the contracts and the keys, and we'll talk it. And as long as contract and everything looks good, house is yours. You ready? Awesome. We meet that night. We get together. Everyone falls in love all over again. And it's time to go through the contract. We fill it out, and congratulations, shaking hands, they did the deal. 1 week, Saturday, boom, you're finished with your lease option. You loved Chris and Steven and said, they gave me the world's best training. Love these contracts, love these guys. I love me. I love my tenants. Everything's happy. I did my lease option. Everything's cool. We good so far?
Yeah.
Fast forward, 3 years happens. And after 3 years, they say, we're ready to buy. And you're like, yay. So now this is how it ended up turning out. They gave you a $7,000 down, and the term we use for down is what?
Option payment.
It's their option payment, and that $7,000 was just for the right to be able to purchase the home under those guidelines for that additional document. And they had made all of their payments on time except for two. They had a lost job and had a squeaky moment, but they fixed it back up. And they were getting $150 on the other 34 months. Someone with a calculator, 34 times 150. How much am I giving them back? 34 times 150. So I am going to give them $5,100. That's what they get back for the payments that they did make on time. Plus they get their $7,000 down. I got no realtor fees. Woo woo. Everything's looking really good so far. And we get an appraisal on the house. And the appraisal comes in. Their purchase price comes in at $249,000. $249,000. However, now I need to do a REPC because I'm selling them the house. The bank says, give me a REPC, a real estate purchase contract. Well, we already know what it is appraised for, so we're going to subtract off $249, $7,000 plus $5,100. So I'm going to take $12,100 off of this. Someone go ahead and do $249,000 and subtract $12,100. They're going to purchase for $236.
Well, we like 336 so much better.
Huh? 900. Okay, this is what they are buying the house for. You close on it, and now you're saying, how did the math work out? How much money did I make? How many of you want to know? All right, let's take it into account. First of all, I bought it for $230, and they ended up getting it for $236.9.
No, you bought it for $200.
Thank you, sorry. I bought it for $200. They bought it for $236.9. So how much did I make there?
$36.9.
I made $36,900. Now, I'm not going to add the $7,000 to what I made because even though I received it, I gave it back to them. So I'm just going to leave that on the table. I don't have to worry about this part.
Yet, that money was money in the pocket that you could already have been reinvesting.
Yes.
I just want to make that is clear.
It's real money. It was tangible. You controlled it and you held it. But I also made a taking this. Now, watch this. I'm going to take the $7,000 out of the account, but I did make a $400 cash flow on this for 3 years. 400 times 36 is?
$14,400.
$14,400. And financially, are there any other benefits that I gained? I got tax write-offs. By the way, if you want to pay less in taxes, you need to buy more real estate because it will make you look horrible on paper, which is a blessing. I love looking bad on paper to the government. All right, $36,000 plus $14,000. This adds up to
$51,300.
$51,300.
But you have to take out the $5,100 because you gave them a credit. You didn't really make $400.
I already took this into account over here, just like the $7,000.
Oh,
It already got taken into account. So now I'm going to take my $51,300 plus my tax bennies, and I'm going to ask myself, how much did I make over 3 years? Someone take my, I always do it backwards. Is it 40,000 divided by 51,000? I want to know my total ROI.
You divide the 40 into the 51. Oh, you divide 40,000 by the 51,000 because...
Do that.
Yeah.
Right, but then that's 3 years.
We'll get there. What's my total ROI?
Divided by 51 is what you said you made?
51,300.
77.9.
Yep.
Say it again.
77.9.
All right. I made 77.9% total, but now divide that by 3.
26.
Yep.
I made 26% annual on my ROI. Friends, anytime in real estate you're making over 15%, then a small lifetime of careful investing has the ability to turn you into a millionaire. 26%, these are not far-fetched numbers by any weird stretch of the imagination. And this is downright good investing, helping a family in the community, being super compassionate, creating options where options don't exist, and doing very, very well for yourself.
Minimizing your risk.
minimizing your risk in a really huge way and not hating yourself for being a landlord, but loving yourself for being an intelligent investor. This person deserves a huge round of applause.
Okay.
And that's lease option.
So, because you're really good and you're blunt and you're fair, and that's what we love about you. So, your honest appraisal, because you have shared what you know with a lot of people, but there's probably not a lot of millionaires. What do you think is the contributing factor or factors to a person not taking this, because you know it works because you did it, and it not working for somebody else?
I can tell you that.
Okay, tell me.
Because I've worked with a number of investors.
And let's restate the question. I want
Yeah.
Stephen's answer, but the question is, this worked for you, Chris, but why might it not transfer to somebody else?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And,
That's a good way to put it.
and 100% of the time, it's their mindset.
Boom.
That is the only. I will tell you. So I've had so many experiences where we've taught this class. People have gone through the class, and back in the day, I used to offer a portion where I would go out to their home, where I would actually go and evaluate what they did in the home, and if they weren't doing it, I may even step in and help them do it. Right, and don't offer that now. But when I did it, I had this particular individual who, went through the whole thing. We told him to be gregarious and out there and do the stuff and shake the hands and do the conversation. And he came up to me one day and said, "Stephen, I mean, this all sounds great, but it doesn't work." And I said, "Oh, well, tell me about your experience. What's going on?" He said, "Well, I had showing after showing after showing, and I get people there and nobody's interested." I said, "Great. Do you mind if I come to your next showing?" He said, "Okay." I said, "Great." I show up to his next showing. And guess how I saw him show up? Just guess.
Unhappily.
Yeah. He was like, his energy was down. He would meet people but wouldn't smile. He wouldn't even, it was kind of like "Hey, how are you? Go ahead and take a look at the house." That's kind of what it was. And I imagine that was how he showed up at every single other showing. Why would he change it? Especially if he wouldn't change it for me when I show up, right? So I went through. I said, "Look, do you mind if I give it a whirl? Do you mind if I do a few things different here with you on our next showing? I'll come to your next one too." He said, "Okay." So I came to his next showing. I said, just hold, just pause. And the next showing, I went up there and, "Hey, how's it going? What are you doing?" And within I think it was that showing, if I remember correctly, I think that showing we had like 2 or 3 different applications, and we sold it. I had a personal experience once. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a home that he bought that I hated. Okay, and you remember the one on 4th West in Orem, the 3-bedroom crapper. I hated this home, okay? And it showed in my attitude. I went to this home and I showed it over and over and over again, and it wasn't selling. And I finally remember I came to Chris and he's like, "Stephen, how's it going with this one home?" And I was like, "That home sucks." I'm like, "I hate this home." And we talked for a while. And he says, "Stephen, I want to challenge you to do something. Change your attitude." And I was very open. I've always been pretty open to learning and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, "Okay, I'll try it. I'll change my attitude." So I go the next time. I show up, completely put on a different face, and I'm excited. I'm like walking around, and this home was a piece of dirt. Yeah. And I'm like, "But look at this dirt. You can plant plants in it, and it's great." And I'm showing all the good things about this home. And I kid you not, within the next 2 showings, I sold it. And I had done probably 10 to 15 showings up until that point with no biters. So it's all in your mentality.
Awesome.
That's why they created Limitless.
Yes.
I was going to say, in a circle.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you right now, I want to give you I want to take what Stephen said and I want to break it into 3 components that will put the lease option at risk, where you're the common denominator. Stephen just elaborated on the first point, which is a poor mindset.
This is what I worried about.
Number 2
Stop worrying.
is a broke mindset. Do you know what a broke mindset is? Scarcity and fear. If you're like, okay, I better sell it this time because in 4 days the payment's due, and that's going to be $1,200, and I got the money set aside, but I don't like that feeling. It's like, okay, so tonight I really need to meet someone, and I got to do this. You meet someone with that energy, and they might love the house, and they're going to run for their hills, because the reality is real estate is a people business. Yeah. Once in a while, you'll meet someone where you will succeed in spite of yourself because they love the product more than you. But in most situations, you're the filter that determines whether they progress or not. So having a positive mindset and having a financial abundant mindset. And then here's the third one. This is really important answer to your question, Wendy. You need to have backup. Call it my sleep well at night account. When you have money in the bank, and let's say it's $5,000, and 2 months have gone by, you've been having good showings, you got real close, but it hasn't happened yet, and of your $5,000, $2,000 of it is gone, and now there's only $3,000 in the bank. You still have a few more months. Don't allow yourself to transport to a broke mindset. You got time. Time to ask for help. And the worst thing that you can do is give into a poor mindset of being poor or broke. Because really what they need is for you to be positive, happy, and abundance. Let loose, enjoy life, for heaven's sakes. Cast off the uncertainty, the doubt, the anxiety, the self-confidence issues that you might have in yourself. This is where it's at. This system will not financially break with these contracts. The only person that can break down what we've shared with you today is how you think. And Vaughn is correct. Limitless, that 3-day event, raise your hand if you've been to that event. That event is the consummate mindset for how you succeed at everything and anything. So let's just imagine that this was a mini Limitless seminar. Do you know if I had just bought a house and I was doing a lease option for the 1st or 10th time, do you know what I would wake up thinking every morning? Oh yeah, so excited. I got my house. Met the person today. They're leasing it from me. It's cash flowing. It's amazing. $300, $400, $500 a month. I'm making money. I'm serving the community. I'm helping people. Got a showing tonight. I got the right people that are showing up. They show up, and I'm walking through everything I desire to see. And the alternative is to have a pity party. And you can't do both. Just pick one. So yeah, absolutely get yourself in the right positive mindset, because Stephen just gave us 2 examples. Success does favor the empowered.
Okay, here's another question. So if you were in our shoes, which would be better, wealth intensive or with this mindset in mind, or inner circle?
I would do to answer your question, if you are considering, do I really want to go into real estate deeper? Do I need more mindset training? I would sit down with me or Steven, and I would do a personalized game plan and just evaluate, where are you at right now? What do you want to create? And what's possible? Because where the training heads next is the sandwich lease, which says, what if you don't have $40,000 for a down payment? In fact, I've got my friend here. Give me your name again.
Chris.
So, should not forget that. I got Chris, who says, Chris, I just live right down the street. What if I want to do this? Can I buy a house with a lease option? And I'm like, man, that's like a fantastic way to get started. That's where we're about to head. So we're going to finish creating awareness for you on what are your options and what do those look like. But then after, I would sit down and I would get into a one-on-one scenario of what do my best options look like? Because everyone here, you need to walk away with a plan on how to immediately use this information for your benefit. Knowledge is not power. Implemented knowledge is. So you're here for a reason. Make sure that you have a design of what to do with the information. Because if all you do is get smarter without application, I think you'll look down the road and say, who cares what I know? But what ended up mattering and what I ended up really caring about was the information I used. So that's where we ultimately need to head by the end of this course on working on what we're doing here. So great question. All right, my friends, that concludes how to do the lease option. We're now going into the advanced portion of this course, and we are going to be teaching a whole new segment